We're starting in LA. This was a story we've touched on before. We'll be reading from the Los Angeles Times. Article headlined, LA federal prosecutors resign over the plea deal for convicted sheriff's deputy. Several federal prosecutors, including the chief of the Public Corruption and Civil Rights Section, have submitted their resignations following a plea deal offered by the new U.S. attorney in L.A. to a sheriff's deputy who had already been found guilty for using excessive force. Two sources confirmed to the Times that the prosecutors resigned from the office over a post-trial plea agreement filed Thursday in the case of Trevor Kirk, an LA County Sheriff's deputy who was convicted of a felony for assaulting and pepper spraying a woman, an elderly woman, we should mention, at least a middle-aged woman, outside a Lancaster supermarket. Kirk, who has been relieved of duty by the Sheriff's Department, was found guilty in February of one felony count of deprivation of rights under color of law and faced up to 10 years in prison. Under the plea deal filed Thursday, which still requires approval from a judge, he would serve a maximum of 1 year in prison. The government agreed to recommend a year of probation. So before we keep going, let's fill them in. So I mentioned a couple times, we touched on this. If you remember, like about a month ago, we were making fun of the LAPD officers who boycotted their own fun run. They were having a little, whatever you call it, corporate, feel-good, morale-boosting fun run.
Everybody doesn't like us. Maybe we should, do a run, get some fun. You bring in, change the perception.
It's not. From what I saw, it's not even about that. It's just for their own camaraderie. You're at your company, you go on a little trip together and do little icebreakers and stuff.
This was for, team morale.
Yeah. Talk about your favorite person you made cry last week who needed your help. Whatever it is that cops do to boost their morale. But a bunch of cops chose to boycott their own fun run in order to support their fellow officer Trevor Kirk, who's this guy, because he looked like, he just got convicted of excessive force.
Yeah. I too would love to abandon my work event, my mandatory work event, because I'm standing tall with my coworkers who are being mistreated. Nigga, you don't take your ass to that work event, you ain't gonna try. Ain't no noble cause. You
exactly.
just don't want to go. Right?
And it's funny because it's like a fundamental misunderstanding of how a boycott works. Like when you want to boycott something, you're boycotting the government. You're boycotting. You're not boycotting your own your own work event. This will show the feds. It's like, nah, bro. But yeah, cops aren't big fans of protesters in general, so it makes sense why they don't get it. But
also, this cop, you got to go watch the footage because I do remember seeing it. This is the cop that flipped that black lady over, like a UFC fighter. This nigga, she was recording. If I'm remembering correctly, because this is a while ago. If it's the same footage, I remember she was recording an arrest. Yeah, something else was happening. He was
fucking with someone else, and then she pulled out her phone to record him.
And then he came over, and I do remember the and he just throws her over the back. I was like, that is good technique, and I wrote it down, but. Yeah, no,
it was like a lady.
It was an old lady. It very much reminded me of
it would look like just like a sweet black lady.
Church going.
Exactly. Yeah,
it was obviously.
And pepper sprayed her as well.
Yeah, he did. He did. And she was like, it wasn't good footage. And this guy, it was really fucked up. So
yes. And so the LAPD saw that injustice to their fellow officer, is how they perceived it, and have been fighting tooth and nail to, not to, in their mind, get justice for Trevor Kirk. And they seem to have succeeded. So the real story here that is that we're under a new administration now, the Trump administration. So 2.0. The people in charge of these localities are now appointed by this new administration, who is really engaging in a lot of political theater about the police. And so they're the ones who have come in and, as it mentioned, a post-trial plea agreement, which kind of doesn't make any sense. And I'll go into. I'll just let the article go into it. But before I do that, this article centers around like the federal prosecutors resigning, and it's like I don't know how much personal sympathy I could feel for prosecutors in general. Yeah. I mean, it sucks. I'm sure they're going to try to apply for their jobs again in 4 years or whatever, but it sucks, I guess, that they did all that hard work. It obviously sucks this guy gets to walk free. But personally, I won't be donating to the prosecutors' GoFundMe. Yeah. But it is fucked up that Trevor Kirk, gets to... Anyways, let's just go back to the article. If the plea deal is approved by the judge, according to the agreement, the U.S. Attorney's Office would, quote, move to strike the jury's finding that Kirk injured the victim, which that's crazy.
It sounds unconstitutional.
Well, at the very least, it's a literal rewriting of history.
The jury convicted him for his crimes, and now a new who has the jurisdiction to rewrite?
I mean, it is
override.
It's the federal government. The federal government, but now the federal government is under new management, right? So now they're coming in and being like, wait, let's offer him a plea deal, and it's like, wait, we already convicted him.
How do you offer somebody a plea deal after a conviction?
Exactly.
That's not even like this episode of Law and Order is out of order. This is,
You're out of order. You're out of order. You're out of order.
There's no things out of order.
Yeah, and just like that sentence, I'm going to read the sentence again. The U.S. Attorney's Office would move to strike the jury's finding, like strike meaning like cross out, the jury's finding that Kirk injured the victim. It's like the victim was injured. We didn't even need a jury in the first place to like have to agree on that. But guess what? They did agree on that. And now you're just trying to be like, actually, no, they didn't.
Dude.
Wrong.
I would be pissed as a jury member. Yeah. Like, bro, that was a week of my life. Yeah. I missed work. Yeah. Do they even pay jurors?
You get paid like minimum wage.
That's crazy. That's crazy. Yeah. I'm suing the government. Nah, bitch. Yeah. I make too much money at my job for y'all to be. I need that difference, baby.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
I know.
This is literally like I'm not. We need to find a new word for Orwellian, like dark and like dystopian, because this is like niggas is just rewriting the actual playbook.
And it is like, and I'm not a Constitution ass type of guy. I'm not one of those like the founding fathers, like, they could all go to hell. I hope they are in hell, but it is like, we're according to this damn country that we're supposed to, like, you get judged by a jury of your peers or whatever.
Yeah, what happened?
Isn't that supposed to be a thing?
Unless
unless our brother Trevor Kirk
is no, that's great. This is just like, it's crazy that our podcast is talking about this and not the fucking news. That they're just wiping away.
Yeah,
like.
But in the news' defense, which I will rarely come to the news' defense, but there's a lot of shit to be talking. There's a lot of shit going on to be talking about, and so it's like we're again in another Trump presidency. So where like the onslaught of news is like too much.
This is like January 6th, like the January 6th choir, where they were like releasing them. This is like everybody know, like it truly is that one meme where it's like Trump releasing his Trump getting into office, and there's like the meme of Transformers, like the new Transformers, where the government is working with all the Decepticons, and they're doing like this is Razor Blade. And he's like he's like releasing all his like just worst people out of lockdown to come into work.
I get what you're saying. Like it's like in the X-Men, all the evil mutants get to break out of jail and they come out.
Thunderbolt Suicide Squad, except they have like legitimate positions in government.
Well, it's interesting that you bring that up because like since Trump has gone back into office, there has been rumblings of whether or not he's going to pardon Derek Chauvin.
Yeah, I've heard. Yeah.
And that's kind of like unthinkable, right?
Yeah.
And so, but when you see some shit like this, you're like, okay, are they priming us? Is this like the warm-up for the ultimate Decepticon, Derek Chauvin? Yeah. And Derek Chauvin, like, they should, like, Trump so far has not acknowledged that. And that's smart of him. Like Derek, that shit was one of the few moments in modern American history where the people actually stood up. Yeah. I mean, it was brief, and none of the goals of the movement were accomplished at all. But there was a time, a rare moment, where Americans actually were on the streets. And so that should give Trump, whoever's in charge, like a second thought of whether they should pardon this motherfucker. But here we have like a little trial of it happening.
This nigga said Trump and second thought in the same sentence. You think that nigga has ever in his fucking life given a second thought to anything? The nigga did the tariffs. He don't give a fuck about BLM. Dude, he likes to poke the bear. He likes to fucking...
Sure. I mean...
And not only that, the psychology in that whole White House with like Stephen Miller, the people who are running it, the real niggas who are running that shit, these are true Nazis, like real life. If something is rumbling in, they might not even be thinking of it, but if a new some new lore drop is rumbling in the right wing sphere, they're going to pick up on that and they're going to embolden it.
Yeah,
so
of course.
If the new thing is that's like white genocide, and it gets emboldened. If the new thing is Derek Chauvin being pardoned, that shit is going to fester, and then the White House is gonna latch onto that because that's who their base is.
Especially this White House, which is like they love the culture wars, the theater of it all. And Derek Chauvin would be like the boss, one of the boss battles of that.
Yes.
So let's go back to this article. Let's see here. Asalis, okay, that's the new attorney general, I'm assuming, moved to offer a misdemeanor plea to a defendant who had already been convicted was extremely unorthodox, according to Carly Palmer, a former supervisor in the federal prosecutor's office in LA, who is now a partner at Halpern, May, Ibarra, Gelberg, whatever. Quote, "It's not unprecedented, but it is extraordinary to have a jury verdict withdrawn and replaced by a plea agreement to a lesser crime. The government invests extraordinary resources to take a case to trial," she said. "You have the agency's investigation. You have all the man or woman hours. Then you have a jury that says you got it right beyond a reasonable doubt." Yeah, but does all that work measure up to 4 LAPD officers not going on their fun run? Yeah, did it underestimated the power of the people.
Protest. Damn, we're talking
Should
shit.
be a lesson to all of us.
Yeah, you talking shit. They niggas boycotted.
Yeah, they stayed home that day.
They went to the happy hour and got more fucking work done than all of the
exactly. They actually got their paperwork done.
That worked.
Yeah.
Protesting's easy. I don't know why more people don't do
like, wait, that guy just ran a stop sign. He seems drunk. Hey, we should stop him.
No, that's it. Damn.
Okay, so to justify seeking a post-conviction plea deal, prosecutors would need to have found evidence that the defendant was innocent or that there was some serious misconduct on the part of the trial team, according to Palmer. So obviously...
there is none. It's literally a straightforward... cut and dry, open and shut case where the guy body slams a lady, old lady, like there's footage.
Yeah.
There's footage. And there's a reason why the jury of the peers were like, yeah, that's fucked up. That's
it's such a stark, like when you compare, like, I'm going to get the statistic wrong. I don't remember exactly what it is, but it's like, white people love to like construe statistics for their racist, like whatever. And they'll do like the whatever it is for black people, the 1350, 30% of people, 50% of all whatever crime, whatever it is. But this same proportion pretty much applies to exonerations, to like the number, the people who have become exonerated of their crimes, meaning that, turns out the justice system got this one wrong and this person's actually innocent. That number is also disproportionately black. So you could take that same statistic and be like, well, it looks like black people are actually disproportionately innocent compared to other people. And so we cover like a lot of that on this show, like some story that's so hard to wrap your head around, where a black man was in prison for 30 years for a crime he didn't commit, and it turns out the cops had the exonerating evidence and they just withheld it for 30 years, and now he finally gets to walk free, and he's crying, and it's like this. You don't know how to feel about it because it's like, he's finally free, but it's like his life was taken away from him. That's the black guy. Now look at a white guy who gets same thing. Same cops, like tears in their eyes, like finally our brother walks free again. How does it feel?
Taking away a man's life like that? The horse.
Just the stark difference.
And only getting a year. He was only getting a year in the first place.
No. What he's going to get is a year tops now.
Oh, okay.
If the judge agrees to this. So there's still a chance the judge might not agree to this, but before, I think it was like 10 years, it was like a real sentence that he was facing for, again, just out of the clear blue sky, assaulting and pepper spraying a lady in the street.
Yeah, I'm glad the justice system is taking care of the real victims here. The police body slamming fucking old women. That's cool.
Yeah.